My name is Greg Tivnan. I'm the Assistant Town Manager, and here in place of Libby Gibson, who is on a well-deserved holiday break. It is school vacation week, so a lot of people, as you have noticed, have left the island. However, it is also Daffodil Week, so a lot of tourists have been showing up. So it's kind of exciting to be able to shake off the winter and recognize that spring's around the corner, Daffy is here, and we hope that everybody enjoys the week and is safe. And we bring a lot of tourists over, and it's not like last year where we had a ice storm typhoon come through, which was terrible.
Is the town ready?
The town is very ready, actually. Thank you, Jim. I'd like to give some shout out, little kudos to our DPW, Kara Buzanowski, our DPW director, and all her staff. They have been working overtime, quite literally overtime, in order to get Daffodil ready for this weekend. They've been very busy downtown, and as you can imagine, with all of the downtown construction, as well as the construction elsewhere on the island, it's not that easy. There's a lot of trucks that have been going back and forth and kicking up a lot of dust, a lot of left over from the winter that need to be taken care of, and they have done yeoman's work. We give a lot of kudos also to our Marine Department, Chief Lucy and her staff, Seth and Alex. They've chipped in where they could to help clean up downtown. And I don't know if anybody recognized that last week we had a neighborhood group downtown come together called SOMA, South of Maine. They got together with all their businesses, as well as the DPW and the Nantucket Natural Resources Department, as well as some school children, to clean up South of Maine, and they did a fantastic job. Not only did they clean up 2 truckloads of debris and rake up all the yards, but they were able to mark all of our downtown water basins, our catch basins, with signs that say, do not dump, flows to harbor, to remind people that we live in a fragile ecosystem here, and we do not want to dump toxins into our basins. It flows directly to the harbor. So thank you to everyone who participated in SOMA Shines, and a particular shout out to Jason Bridges and Courtney Bridges from the Nantucket Handlebar, who organized the entire effort. Well, I'm just going to go over what happened tonight. Tonight is a Board of Selectmen meeting. Although we had a short agenda, it took quite a while. First up was just to remind everybody that Friday, the 24th, is Arbor Day. So we read a proclamation to recognize Arbor Day on Nantucket, but also to stress that on Saturday, April 25th, at the DPW landfill, we will be giving out free seedlings, I guess you call them seedlings. It's a seedling giveaway, the annual giveaway. So get up there between 8 and noon on Saturday the 25th to get your seedlings. There will be no Board of Selectmen meeting next week. That's Wednesday, April 29th. That's just because it's the 5th Wednesday of the month, and traditionally the board does not meet on the 5th Wednesday. So that means the next official Board of Selectmen meeting will be on Wednesday, May 6th. However, I want to remind everybody that next Tuesday, which would be Board of Selectmen is meeting at 16 Broad Street at 9 in the morning to conduct their annual officer elections. So everyone's welcome to attend, and it's always an interesting time.
Have the nominations stayed in place since?
Yes, there have been no new nominations to the best of my knowledge. So I think they'll start the entire process from scratch on Tuesday. Excuse me. Since Dawn was sworn in, and that's the reason why we postponed it yet a week, is because Dawn Hill-Holgate, our new select person, thank you very much, Jim. We'd like to welcome Dawn, who is our newest select person, and she is away too. She's on vacation with her children and family. Another thing that we want to stress is that we have a bunch of open vacancies on our boards and commissions, and we encourage everybody to go to the town's website under boards and commissions, or under the town admin page, to look at the current vacancies. There's quite a big list. The 2 dates really to pay attention to is May 22nd and May 29th. Those are the 2 different, I guess, levels, phase 1 and phase 2, in which the board will entertain, will close acceptances for nominations and applications, and then they will hear them the subsequent week. So please put your name in for a board or commission. And finally, as an announcement, the police chief, Chief Pittman, went over the proposed abandoned vehicle policy. And again, this is just a review of the policy that is just setting in motion our current bylaws, but putting them into a real formalized plan. Getting to the cut to chase is, we are trying to recognize or solve for vehicles that are left downtown, around the core area, and also around the island, but mostly in the areas that are in timed restricted parking, that are left there for large amounts of time or actually abandoned. Right now, we do have bylaws against it, and what we're setting in motion is a policy in which, after 5 consecutive tickets, 5 days, a vehicle will be towed. It'll be not after until the police department makes much effort as possible to identify the previous owner and contact him or her. But what we hope to solve is what happened during this past winter when we really needed to plow our side streets in our downtown after all the snow we had, and there were a lot of vehicles that were left there, and we could not get a hold of the owners. So that we just reviewed it. It's on our website. It's on the town's agenda page. So feel free to familiarize yourself with it, but it's nothing new. It's just really enforcing the bylaws and policies that we currently have. We had our town auditor, Tony Roselli, here with us today. He gave a really positive audit report regarding the town. I know this is all kind of geeky, and for those of you who are just not that entertained with this, but they presented the town's first ever CAFR, Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, a CAFR. Why this is a big deal is we now are only the 25th community in Massachusetts to have an official CAFR report. It's a financial statement that is a formal process to elevate the town and its finances. So we're only the 25th out of about 361 communities in Massachusetts to have an official CAFR report. So great kudos go out to the Director of Municipal Finance, Brian Turbot, and his staff, his worker bees at 37 Washington Street. If you're down there, pop in, say hi. They've done great work on this, and this helps the town get to the next level, such as a Government Finance Officers Award, which opens up another world to us as far as government finance. So Tony Roselli reported out on this, and the highlights were that the town has reached another level, a higher level in its bond rating. We are now a AA1. The highest level is AAA. And we are working very feverishly to get to that point. We have to solve some of the issues of our past in departments and enterprise funds that had some issues. But as Tony pointed out today, the town has done such great efforts getting to that point that it's all an academic exercise now before we can eventually reach that point. They reported out, excuse me, the point of the audit report is to show the town's doing it well as not well, and it needs to improve upon. And one of the issues they stressed, or one of the departments they stressed, was the Department of Public Works. We specifically asked our auditor to focus on DPW last year, so they did a separate side audit specifically focused on DPW, solid waste, and wastewater. And although the report came back with some findings, such as professional staff who need to focus more on finances, they also came back with some very positive recommendations or findings regarding DPW. Again, that entire report is listed online under the town's finance department page, so we encourage you to go look at it. But in general, we're very, very pleased with the work that Director Buzanowski and her entire staff are doing out at DPW.
One point, that AA1 rating is only one level away from the AAA, is that correct?
That is correct. So the next level up would be AAA. As I briefly mentioned, we would, that's our intent, is to reach there. And the reason we're not there yet is because we're digging out from the past. So as somebody brought up this evening, it may have been the chair or maybe Tony Roselli, that it's just like getting your own credit rating fixed, your own credit card. If you had some issues in the past, it takes a few years before you can get to the point where the credit agencies respect you enough in order to deliver you to that higher rating. And the value of doing that is that the town will be able to borrow at a cheaper rate, short and long-term borrowing, and that means can translate to hundreds of thousands of dollars to taxpayers. So we have all these capital projects, the 10 to 20-year capital plan that we're trying to finance could be paid for more cheaply, enter that higher rate. So we're also very happy that now we have the AA1 rating, which also helps us to borrow at a lower rate. So we're very pleased with that too. We had 2 public hearings this evening. One was on the taxi regulations and another was on our town pier regulations. The taxi regulations, excuse me, brought out a few taxi drivers here to make some comment. The focus of the regulations was the newly implemented fingerprinting program for taxi owners and drivers. Right before the meeting began, we got word from town council that there had been a glitch in what town council had written. So we could not take up all of the taxi regulations, and we continued this hearing, this public hearing, to a date certain, that is May 6th, here, the next selectmen meeting. But what was able to be accomplished was approving the temporary permit process for taxi licenses, as well as approving the new regulations for taxi owners. So what was left to be addressed would be the taxi drivers, not the owners, as well as charters, limousines, and buses. So we hope to have that all taken care of by the next selectmen meeting, and stay tuned. The other public hearing was on the proposed town pier regulations, the moorings and slips, and that brought out quite a few people who had some issues, as well as very thoughtful proposals and recommendations regarding the regulations. Selectman DaCosta had his own couple of changes. Because there were so many changes recommended, the board took action to adopt the regulations that were presented to the board today, with the provision that town administration work out a process to get all of the interested parties together as quickly as possible to address some of the concerns that were brought forth this evening, mostly from SHAB, the Shellfish Advisory Board, as well as other members of the public. And we'll do that as quickly as we can. We just want to recognize that May 1st is next week, so and the summer's around the corner. However, we will try to accommodate public hearings and getting the task force back together. The chair recommended that even if we get some changes by the end of the summer, September, October, we can at least figure out if our adopted regulations were successful and what needs to be tweaked. We also had our quarterly report outs for our budgets, our general fund as well as our enterprise funds. I will not bore you with them, they are all online, but the positive spin to the whole thing, to the whole report, was that all the enterprise funds and the general fund look very healthy, and there are no issues. So we look like we're ending the fiscal year very positively and without any sort of issues. So we're, again, very pleased with the work that all of our department heads, as well as our finance department, have done to keep spending right down to the penny. Selectmen reports. The board just made formal the denial of a liquor license for an establishment, it's called Sprout Market on Amelia Lane. That was denied on April 15th, but this was with the formal documentation from town council.
Are they on Amelia Lane or Center Street?
I'm sorry, Center Street. Sorry.
Where the bean was?
It was where the bean was. Thanks for correcting me, Jim. They had also rejected one on Amelia, but that was before. This one was on April 15th. They rejected the beer and wine license for Sprout Market, not the CV for Sprout Market. Sprout Market will still open. And as Jim points out, that is on Center Street where the Bean used to be. And the final selectman report this evening was on a memorandum of agreement for the alternative access on Baxter Road. And that was a culmination of many months of work between the board, town council, and several groups within on Baxter Road. And tonight was just a successful signing of the memorandum of agreement that allows the alternative access. So we're very pleased that, again, just to remind everybody that the reason the town even engaged in this process was in the event that Baxter Road fails, that due to the erosion, that Baxter Road is eliminated, and we need to allow alternative access to the residents on Baxter Road. And that's about it. As I said, it's a very quiet week here on the island. It's school vacation week. We have Daffodil on Saturday, so everybody be safe, have fun, and let's pray for a lot of sunshine.
Getting ready for a busy weekend.
We're going to have a very busy weekend, and if today was any indication with the amount of tourists downtown, it's going to be a busy summer.
One thing I wanted to mention, this isn't pertaining to tonight's meeting, it actually goes back to town meeting and the discussion about affordable housing, but affordable isn't necessarily a good word because that pertains to income regulations and 40Bs.
That's correct.
And then accessible isn't necessarily a good word because that has code implications.
That's correct.
To handicapped accessibility. What if we start a discussion about attainable housing?
It's interesting, what you bring up is correct. Certain terms are already taken by legalese. So affordable housing may not necessarily work here on Nantucket. Affordable housing comes with a thresholds of earnings, and that may not be available or a readily possible solution for everybody. And accessible is just that. It has a lot of ADA, American Disabilities Act requirements. So we certainly want that, but that's not exactly what we're looking for. But starting a dialogue about having attainable properties has already begun. The Wednesday after town meeting, so a week after town meeting, the town manager got together a work group that includes Remain Nantucket, Housing Nantucket, Health and Human Services, and several other members and an architect to review what is possible. And we intend to keep that work group going and analyzing what other communities may have done, whether it's just over the sound like in Provincetown or Truro, but also across the country in Aspen or in other municipalities that suffer the same problems we have. A tourist destination that is very remote, that also has high property values. So yes, we're well on it, and we hope to have some solutions by this time next year.
And one last question about the tertiary dwellings. Now, that was approved at town meeting.
Yes.
How long does that take before, does it have to go to the state for approval and then comes back to the town before it can actually be written into bylaw?
That is correct, and so knowing how long that's going to take is really up to the state, but let's assume that nothing's going to happen on that within the next year.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Greg.
Thank you very much, Jim.